All right, everyone. Give it just a minute or so, let everybody kind of fill in. Hope everyone's doing okay on their Monday night. What's going on? Glad you're here. Hello, everybody. Let that notification kick in real quick. Take a look at the calendar. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, guys. What's going on? What's up, everybody? Glad you're all here. There it is. There's that notification. Kick it in. What's up, everybody? Glad you're here. Awesome. Really awesome. So tonight, let's do some, just like we always do. I'm going to introduce this as, hey, this is just going to be me talking. This is not a normal video series. It's not a regular installment. It's not part 16. This is just me doing a live stream, answering questions, doing like a Q&A. So if you don't like just me talking and answering questions, then this is not the video for you. So now that we got that out of the way, let's have a nice little talk here, guys. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. You can see the rear bumper's been taken back off. I'll talk about that in the next video. And that if all things are considered, all things are going right, should be this Friday or Saturday. I'm shooting for Friday and would prefer Friday. Just depends on how things go. But we're doing some neat stuff here with some new parts that we've got going on. And you'll see that later on in the next video. But did some cool stuff today that we'll walk outside and I'll show you here in just a minute. Couple things besides that. I think I talked about this last week. Put that nice flip top gas cap on. And again, I still need to put a locking gas cap in there, but you see the point. It does look very nice. And somebody said, yes, the garage does need to be clean. This thing is kind of turned into a lot of things happening all in the middle here. And, when you're working out of a two-car garage for a shop, for a bunch of different vehicles, parts tend to get piled up. But that'll get fixed here in just a little while. We'll do a big major shop cleaning. Really want to do that after the dash goes in. I think that's a really good time to do that because then I really want to get the car kind of sorted out for wiring. That's really the next major step is wiring. Well, engine needs to go in too. That's a good one, but hey, whatever. Lunar's Outlaw, man, Lunar Outlaws Garage, sorry. $4.99. I love this car. Someday I would really like to see my satellite next to this. Keep up the great progress on this. Remember everyone super chats. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. I would love to see the satellite. Yeah, I like what you're doing with that thing. I've always liked that body style satellite. What is it? A 71 or 2? I can't remember exactly which year it is, but definitely like seeing your posts on it. But I've always loved that body style. The 73 and 4, not as much of my favorite compared to the 71 and 72s, but I do love that body style. Definitely over the Chargers of that year. Love the 71 to 72 Roadrunner. Way better. What makes the cap pop? Is it the rubber piece? Come on, does it pop anymore? Yeah, these older ones, there's like some kind of spring in here. If I was smart enough to tell you, I could. But there's like a spring it's under tension. See how I'm having to push it in to get it to actually lock? Because there's a spring in there. When you lock it in there, it's holding under tension. And then, boop, pops it right out. Somebody did a $10 super chat. You guys are spoiling me tonight. Let me go back and find that. Isaiah Schwartz. Love the videos. Keep up with the good work. Thank you very much, Isaiah. Very kind of you. Absolutely very kind of you. You guys are awesome. Yeah, where's Classic Mustangs 429? He's always here. He usually shows up. 72, okay. I thought so. Yeah, 72 is a beautiful, beautiful car. And I think that, so one of the only big differences between the 71 and 72, correct me if I'm wrong, besides any kind of major options. They, I think 71 was the last year for the Hemi. And I know there were some rare cases of a 446 pack in 72, in some very early cars early on. The marker lights are different as far as the exterior goes. They use like the universal um, marker lights that are like those bigger, kind of bulky looking rectangle marker lights. And that's kind of what everybody used, or that's what they all used later on in that year. Decided not to restore my Nova. It's not a factory super sport. It's going to cost more to restore and take longer than I want to. Instead, it's going to be a really awesome street rod in matte black. Exhibit A. I agree, man. It's awesome. I'm just going to skip all the paint comments. Beating a dead horse, guys. Get rid of the door handles? I mean, I like the door handles. They open the door. Good Lord. So many paint comments. So many. I'll skip all those. Jeez. Hello from New Hampshire. You, Vice Grip Garage, and Junkyard Digs inspired me to start restoring my 70 Camaro. Very cool. That's awesome. What is the engine? So we talked about the 5.7 Hemi. There's a couple of concerns of mine as far as making sure everything is compatible. Now, the only thing that's a really big setback for me is management. Now, the 2015 engines, they have like the variable valve timing and all that stuff, while the earlier engines did not. Like in the 2010 is where I think that started. Correct. I may be wrong about that, but the 2015 doesn't really have as big of an aftermarket support compared to the earlier engines. That's the only thing that really worries me. So going with the harness, you have not as many options. You have to go with like either a factory style harness, which really limits your capability for tuning, where like if I were to upgrade a cam, upgrade a headers, or do anything after the fact, I'd end up having to get the car tuned. I had to take it to somebody to tune it. I'm really not about that. I'm more of a hands-on. I'd rather do it myself. So if I go with the Hemi, it's going to have to be, I know that there's I think Holley makes a standalone unit that is for the newer model Hemis. I can't think of the name of it. But if I go with something like that, I might have to go with it. Or, and the thing too is the cost. The harness costs ridiculous amount of money so I looked up a harness like for a new a custom factory style harness with the ECU is like $1,500, which is done right. Everything's right, and you got to compensate for drive-by wire, which don't really care for that either. And I'm not sure. There's a couple things that are really kind of holding me back from the Hemi right now, and really kind of I'm starting to gear towards running back to that 360 that we talked about way early on in the series. It was 40 over. I don't know yet. I'm really at a crossroads because I've got a painless wiring harness, and all I have to do is wire the car up, and it would be turnkey. Or for another however much money I'd have to spend, I'd get a new standalone harness for the Hemi. So really don't know what I want to do just yet. Really kind of leaning towards, I'm on the fence with it, honestly. The 5.7 will be awesome when you pop the hood and you see that under there. But the ease of maintenance, sustainability would be great for just a plain small block. So not really sure what I want to do just yet. And it won't be a big block, it'll only be a small block. Chris Martin, liquid refreshment for y'all. $9.99. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what I'm going to stick with is my cherry Pepsis. If you guys haven't tried these, you are missing out substantially. But thank you very much for donating. I greatly appreciate that. And all of you who do, you guys are absolutely, absolutely awesome. And even if you don't support the channel with any kind of monetary donation, you're still awesome for viewing, liking, subscribing, commenting, anything, any kind of interaction. Greatly is appreciated, no matter what. Oh, we got some Cherry Pepsi fans out in the audience tonight. That's great. So let's take a little walk around real quick. I was letting my phone charge. You guys know how that goes. Pretty much every time I do a live video, I forget to charge my phone. But so we got the Challenger going on. What is Fibster Films SS? $10 Canadian. Nice little, whatever you would call that, a pair. Says thank you. Well, thank you. You guys are great. You guys are killing it tonight. I greatly appreciate that, for real. So we talked about this last week. Oh, here's a good lower the Dodge Aspen. I don't have the Aspen anymore. I gave it away to a good friend of mine who's working on it. Anyway, this is a 360. This is Dad's 360 that's going in the petty truck, and actually just ordered a cam for him today. I got him the tried and true comp XC268 and supporting lifters, supporting valve springs, and he's wanting to run a high volume oil pump, double time and chain, all that good stuff. So I talked him into doing that, and I got him a recurve kit for the factory distributor. So we're going to set it up, let him really enjoy the truck. He's never really got to enjoy the truck, unfortunately, and I feel bad for him because the truck, when he pulled, it was out of a motorhome, a 360 out of a motorhome with like 50,000 miles on it, ran flawless, ran absolutely flawless. But as soon as he put it in the car or the truck and broke in the cam and drove it, it would not oil. I can't remember which side head it was, but it would not get oil to the rockers whatsoever. And he put new rockers on it, new rocker arms, the pedestal, not pedestals, but the shaft for the rockers to ride on. Replaced all of that brand new on both sides, and it still, for some reason, would not oil. He took the engine apart, had new cam bearings put in it, had great oil pressure, even when warm, and there are no ports plugged for the oil for the oil passages, and it still refused to oil that side of the rockers. So he tore it all apart. I'm going to save that engine for later and just get it built, and this one's going to go back in it. It's a pretty low miles. Very little ring ridge. It would clean up really nicely with the standard bore pistons, new rings, new cam. Probably reuses intake, clean up the head. These are reman heads, believe it or not, surprisingly, so that was cool. But it is an 84 360. Nothing crazy, but a good mid-range cam like that comp XC268 really will wake this truck up, I believe. So if you're looking for small block, try a 340. It's common, but I hear they're good. Now, I think you might be confusing those with a 360. A 340 is very difficult to find for cheap. Now, that's what's great about 360s. More cubic inches, more parts availability, and the fact that 340 in this condition, or a little worse, but complete, you're looking at like $2,000. Easy. Dad picked up the truck that came out of, complete truck with the engine and transmission, $500, and it's a great engine. I heard it run before it got torn apart, so I know it's a good engine. So that's just the difference between a 340 and a 360 there. So I don't really care for the hype of the 340. I respect what the history of them is. Great little engines and definitely deserve their place. But if you're looking for something you're not looking for like a period correct build, or you're not looking for anything like numbers matching, 360 all the way. Larry Edward, you're a cool young man, Dylan. I enjoy your work. Donated $10. Man, you're awesome. You guys are really showing the love tonight. I greatly appreciate that. Once again, thank you very much. Coke is so much better than Pepsi. Live in Atlanta, so by law, I must say that. That is true. Hey, yeah, he is bound by that, by contract. If you live in Atlanta, you do have to use, you have to only speak highly of Coke products. So I can't blame you there. Let's walk outside real quick, and I'll take a look at what we did today. So again, I was cleaning up the shop a little bit. You can see I've got all this stuff that I've been got to throw in the trash, but this is all laying on the Challenger on the trunk. But there's the dash frame, still painted. You guys remember that from a few videos back. We painted that. That's still yet to be put in. waiting on my air AC box and heater box, whatever I end up doing with it. Really want to get something going with it because the dash is next. I cannot wait to see that thing go in there. Up front, did something a little cool here in my opinion. Got the front wheels bolted on. So, you know, I actually just posted about this on my Instagram, but those are 17x8 Anson Sprints with a these are 17x9 Anson Sprints with a 275/40 17 on the back. And these are 17x8s with a 245/45 17 on the front. And they need to be polished. They're nasty because they've been sitting for a while, but they're aluminum, they're lightweight, really good contact patch on the ground. You can see that's a really wide tire out back, and then really wide tires up front. So it'll grip, has a classic look, and I'm just really wanting to test fit some stuff, and that's kind of what the next video is going to be about, is like testing out some exterior stuff and not painting the car once again, but you know, doing some stuff to kind of get us motivated to finish up the car, because it's kind of been kind of just dragging on. So putting these wheels on really helped me out, kind of get some motivation. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't put these on the car, it's a couple things. One is that the alignment is jacked, and these are really square tires. And two, when you have a bad alignment with square tires, you end up with that right there. So the guy before me had actually, I guess he didn't get in alignment, or he just ran it to where he never rotated the tires, never did anything, and eventually it literally wore a set of, look how deep the tread is over here, wore those tires out down to the wire. So ruined a nice set of tires right out of the gate. And you can even see that I've got a bunch of positive camber right here, so it's really leaning out on the top side. So that, and I had to actually drop the car because I had it jacked up with the torsion bars, because trying to compensate for the weight of the engine not being in there. So whenever the engine was dropped in, it would settle the car to the correct ride height. But since we don't have one, I was like, whatever. We'll just sit it down, and it's kind of sitting lower than it really should, but you kind of get the idea. And the tire will tuck in a little bit more because we're kind of tiptoeing on this side. We're really only contacting right here. That's all we're contacting on with the tire. So you can see that it will tuck inside the fender a lot nicer. So yeah, it does hurt to look at. It really does. So we'll get some new tires for the back tires. You can kind of see from here, brand new, like barely have any miles on them. Brand new Continentals. So if I don't know if I can find a size of Continentals for this wheel and tire setup here, but I might just get a whole brand new set of tires all together and then run those back ones as spares just for backups, because I like to have matching tires. But yeah, those need to be replaced. But anyway, you get the point, you get the idea. Car looks mean sitting down low. Definitely gets that desired look I've been wanting, and can't wait to finally see this car come together. And a question I'm going to pose in the next video is hoods. So I've got the original hood. It's full of rust, and it's bowed in the middle, has a dent right in the middle of the ridge, but it matches. So I'm thinking we can leave that hood on to kind of complete the pull it straight out of a barn look, or we can run like if I did an aftermarket, or if I did like a newer hood, like a different hood, I really like a TA hood. I know everybody's gonna be like, oh, you're copying Freiberger with his vanishing paint. I love the vanishing paint, and it's a really cool car, but I've always loved those TA Challenger hoods. So might be something worth considering. You know, my favorite Challenger hood is the RT hood, but the problem is getting the paint to match would be a nightmare. Get it to match the original look of the car. But I'm not really a fan of a shaker hood on a Challenger. Really not my favorite. And the price of a shaker setup, holy moly, is it high. It is astronomically high. So not too sure what I want to do just yet. If I did a TA hood, it would be satin, and the weight savings would be great too. That would help a lot. But what was I gonna? Oh, one thing I was considering. Let me go back inside real quick and run this by you guys. So I think I might have mentioned this before. I don't remember, but I think I have. So, this car has the original deck lid on it, and it's pretty much toast under. It's basically the same situation as the hood. So, it's really thin on the inside. What I considered, since the only reason I wanted to keep it was because, one, it matches the car, and two, if I drilled holes in it, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. So what I considered, and I've already got it. I've got everything to do it with already, is a luggage rack on the back. It's an original Challenger luggage rack that'll bolt right in. Just drill the holes. I've got everything. I've got the screws. I've got the mounting tabs. I got everything for spoilers on these cars. The only spoiler I would consider on this car would be a TA spoiler, but the way that these Challengers look, the back quarter panel is absolutely perfect in my opinion. The way that it just rounds off on the end. So I love that body line right there. I think it's beautiful. So that's why I'm not really a fan of any kind of, like, the Go Wing. I don't really like those on the back of these cars. I like the ducktail spoiler, the TA spoiler. I think those look good, a little more functional in my opinion. But the roof or the luggage rack would be absolutely super functional in my opinion. And this car is going to be a road trip car in the end. So I think that being able to store like a spare well, not maybe a spare tire, but like a gas jug, any kind of parts or tools, something like that would be really cool to have just chilling out on the trunk of the car. So the only thing that's kind of a downside, if you store a lot of heavy stuff on it, not very easy to open the trunk, but it would be cool. So might one day go grab the luggage rack and just set it on the trunk and see what it looks like, see what you guys think about it. Really just trying. I haven't done that yet, so I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. Do I want to take away the sporty, sleek look of the rear of the car and kind of upset it with a luggage rack, or just leave it alone? So I'm not sure. Not too sure just yet, but I want to run that by you guys. And I just think that, I don't know, it's just kind of funny, or not funny, but like just neat to see one of these cars. It's all mean, aggressive, looks absolutely disgusting on the outside, sounds rowdy, big wheels, big tires, all that good stuff. Luggage rack. I just think it's cool. What I might do is I'll do a poll, and might do that on YouTube on the community tab one day, maybe next week. I'll grab the luggage rack, take a picture with and without, see what you guys think. I'm still trying to mull it over. Don't really know what I want to do. But if I change the deck lid, I don't want to drill holes in it, because this one don't really care about, just because it's pretty much toast on the inside. It's basically done for. So I don't really care if I ruin it or not. If you put a spoiler on it, it'll ruin the looks. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. If I did put a spoiler, like I said, the only one I would consider is a TA ducktail spoiler, because they just look really cool. But so yeah, we'll see. And like I said, I'm a visual guy, so I gotta see how it would look with a luggage rack versus no luggage rack. Just a lot of things to consider. So anyway, let me get back to you guys, what you guys are saying. Sorry, I kind of talked for a long time just then. Then just bought a T-shirt, George McMillan. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've got some ideas in the works about some new T-shirts, new stickers, featuring this car, the Challenger. I'm not the Challenger. I'm sorry, the Charger. Maybe Rump. Got some ideas in the works for future T-shirt ideas. I might open up the abandoned Challenger T-shirt sale again. Do that one more run, because I think I had a lot of people ask me about buying more, but I did a pre-sale or pre-order, so whoever ordered within that certain time frame got to get a shirt. So now that that's out of the way, and I kind of see, who bought what sizes I need to get, I may do another run, another order, and just see what everybody would want, and just have some spares on the side. So might do another run of that. So if you guys are interested in something like that, let me know. Or if you're wanting to see any other kind of merchandise or hats, I really want to do some hats. I need a logo drawn up too. That's the thing. I need to. I mean, I have ideas, but I don't know how to work the computer programs to make really good logos. So, don't know. Felipe Seabra. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'm from Brazil. I'm always following this series. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to donate to the cause. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very, very much. Plan on going to the Mopar Nationals this year again. I would love to, but I am planned to be in a wedding for a good friend of mine that weekend. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to make it, which is a letdown, but hey, I'm happy to support a good friend of mine and help him out in his wedding. But yeah, I won't be able to go this time. So, here's the old Cordoba. You guys remember we talked about this a little bit in depth last week. You can see the burnt rubber chilling out of the back bumper. So this car, still haven't washed it, so you can see it's really dirty, is howling. It's got quite a vibration and a noise. I think the car sits pretty low. You can see on the front versus the back, it sits lower in the back. So I'm gonna have to figure out maybe how to raise the back end, get the pinion angle correct. That or the U-joints are going bad. I don't know. Really got to crawl up under it, but it's got a popping noise if you kind of hit a bump or go around a hard turn or really get under heavy acceleration. This thing, it tends to have a real loud pop, and I can shake the car and make it do that. So Ricardo Montalban is your answer there, George. He's the Cordoba guy. But yeah, I'm gonna try a comparison video of this car versus the original Cordoba, and I want to see about making something like a this is what you could do with this mod, before and after, because this car literally is like exactly what I had planned to do with the Cordoba. And the reason that the first Cordoba never kind of made it to where it is now is because I got the Charger shortly after. So that's why the black Cordoba kind of fell to the wayside. I didn't really do much with it because this car kind of, came out and stole the show in a sense. But yeah, this thing it's really cool. It's really fun. If I had the keys for it, I would certainly start it up for you guys, but I don't at the moment. But we might could start up something else just for a short minute. It's not quite 9 o'clock yet here, so we won't worry about the neighbors getting too mad at us. But I want to do like a 0 to 60 time, maybe take both of them to the 8th mile, because they're both identical in setup besides the modifications done. So I think it would be really cool to do a 8th mile time just based on. So this car has that Comp XE268 cam, long tube headers, 440 source aluminum heads, aluminum intake from Edelbrock. What else has been done? It's got a 2800 stall converter, 373 limited slip, 8 1/4 rear, and that's about it. But it will fly. It will absolutely fly. I think it has a shift kit in it. I believe somebody's put one in it. I don't know. It shifts pretty hard though. It really does. And a couple other things. It's got an aluminum radiator, electric fans, so it pulls. It really does pull hard. It's a great little car, just a fun driver, and I would love to compare this car to the black Cordoba just to see a before and after of how things work. So I guess we could kind of touch on this thing again. This is the old swap diesel truck. Dad's been working on this thing diligently. He actually moved it now. Got the steering rack sorted out. You see here, I think he wired up his, he might have wired up a jump. Yeah, looks like he has a little trigger up here to start the truck. You can see he can shift it by hand, reaches down there and he'll shift it into gear. But he's just been slowly but surely working on the truck, getting things to where it's a driver. He's just got to keep working on it. We did a body swap where he did most of the work. I just kind of helped him move stuff. Video will come out on this when it's running and driving for sure. But you can see here's the 12 valve in all its glory. Came out of a 89 W350, so it's a ton truck, ton axles, all the good stuff. Found so when you fire it up, it'll lope at idle, just because it's got that injector issue right now. But still working on that. But I think it should run. We can try it. Sucker's loud too. There's absolutely zero muffler. Climb up in here and make sure it's, I think he's got it. I don't know what's park on this thing, but I might can reach down there and see. So all the way back should be park. Oh, he's got it. Yeah. So it's in park, I hope. Let's just bump it over and see what happens. Maybe he's got it. Honestly, don't know what the deal is. I've never started it. If he's watching this right now, he's probably yelling in the screens like, "You got to do this, Dylan." Anyway, I'm sure I'm missing something. I'm sorry, guys. I don't really know what he's done to it or what needs to be done. He's changed the wiring setup on it since the last time I've come out here and looked at it. But it does run. He parked it right here where it sits, but it just doesn't want to run right now. So sorry about that, but there's a way to do it. I just don't know how he has it ran. We've got, what's this wire up here doing? Oh, there's a hot wire going into here. Reckon what you're for. That might be a trick. What do y'all think? Oh, okay. Look what we got right here. Is this gonna start it? Look at there. A little wire. Oh, that's hot. Bet it'll start this time, you think? That injector leak makes it lope like crazy. But it'll run. Give it a little throttle and it'll quit, but yeah, we found that yesterday, or not yesterday, maybe it was like Saturday, I believe. He was spraying starting fluid while it was running around these injectors to see if there was like a air leak or something going on. And I think it's that injector right there is actually leaking. It's sucking in air, so it'll sit there and lope when it's not supposed to. So, have to fix that. Maybe it might be a hard line that's bad. I don't know if the injector's bad or not, but it's a 30-plus-year-old truck, so it just needs some attention. But it runs and it'll move. It's got really, really nice tires, 37s. Those are military tires. 4-inch lift. I think these are like 15, no, they're 16 and a half by 10s. Good old steel wagon wheels. This thing is awesome. Really an awesome truck. Straight as an arrow, too. Really a solid truck, too. But got everything just about hooked up. This is a Proform slim fit radiator. It's really cool. But it's a really pretty truck, and it'll be cool. Like I said, it's still a work in progress. It's not a for the short amount of time that he's been working on it, it's really come a long way. But just needs some attention here and there, get stuff done. But yeah, it's a really nice truck, really cool truck. So really a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff going on around here. But nonetheless, there's progress. That's what's good about it. And the old diesel will certainly be a fun little trailer puller, or just to go to a car show. And he didn't touch anything with the running gear besides put bigger tires on it. It's already got like 411 gears, so those 37s really aren't going to hurt much, if anything. So it's going to be a really cool truck in the end. Really excited about it. It's a non-overdrive, just a straight up 727 3-speed. So transmission issues are kind of out the door. A lot of people give those year model trucks a lot of flack because transmission issues. But what happened was, it's not the transmission itself, but there's a check valve in one of the transmission cooling lines that is supposed to keep the torque converter from draining back any fluid into the pan. So what happens is that check valve will get clogged. And the reason that check valve is there to keep fluid in the transmission torque converter, because whenever you first fire it up, you put it in gear, there's no fluid spinning in the converter to get it moving. So you don't have anything to get you going, and then all that fluid not being there is it's basically making it slip, which causes your transmission to burn up prematurely, especially if you let a vehicle like that sit a long time. So what I do in every vehicle I own that's an automatic is I let it sit in neutral, because that engages your pump, that fills everything up with fluid before you get going. Now, then you put it in gear and it acts perfectly fine. But not a lot of people realize that, and especially when they buy a new truck, they're like, well, this thing ought to go as soon as I put it in gear. And that's what the demise of these trucks were, especially, people trying to haul with the overdrive units, and they're leaving it overdrive while pulling a heavy load. That'll burn them up. But the big thing was that check valve. This check valve gets stopped up, no fluid gets back to the transmission, and it eventually gets hot. So there's a lot of things you can do to kind of bulletproof these older Dodge 727s. And like a normal 727 and these older transmissions are stout. They're very stout. It's just when you mix overdrive, you mix stuff in line with your coolant lines that are potential obstructions, and then you mix it with people who don't really know what they're doing, you get a bad transmission wrap. So anyway, that's my little high horse, a little bit of a soapbox on the Dodge transmission. Yeah, the truck will pull the house off the foundation. So, any other quick questions before we get rolling out of here? ATF plus 4 in your 727? Yeah, I run that, or just straight up Dexron. That's what I was recommended by my transmission builder. I have seen on guys running like an older 727. They'll 727 run on just about anything, like the straight up 3-speed run just about anything. I see guys run like a lightweight oil as a quart. They'll run like a 530 or 1030 along with their transmission fluid. So just to get a little bit more bite on the clutches and get things to last a little bit longer. And I've heard a lot of people doing that. I've never done it myself, but I have heard that. And running Type F. Type F is a real thick ATF, so that's another option to go with. But yeah, 727 will really run on just about anything. So how did you begin to look for this car? This car in particular was sent to me by a subscriber through Instagram. He messaged me and said, "Hey, I know where this car is. You should check it out. It's for sale." And he gave me the dude's number. I went and looked at the car and ended up buying it. So it pays to be known. It's a curse and a blessing to be known as a car person. It's a curse in the fact that people want you to always work on your car if they know you like cars, but it's a blessing because people always tell you about old cars that they saw on the road that you potentially might be interested in. And that just so happened to be one of them, where the guy said, "Hey, know where this Challenger is, you might be interested in it." And sure enough, here we are. And I've had the car for over a year now. It's been over a year. I think I bought it in, gosh, was it November of last year? Maybe. It's been quite a while. But I know it was cold, it was rainy, and I was glad to get home with the car. But certainly been a very fun, very enlightening road to where we are now. A lot of successes and a lot of failures and a couple things. But definitely learn something new with every car that we work on. And that's really what the whole purpose of this thing is. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the paint, once again. And I'm going to address this in the next video, and it's probably the last time I really want to talk about it. Oh, we got a donation. George McMillan, $20. Still in love your videos and you and your dad's car trucks collection. Man, you bought a shirt and you donated $20. You are killing it. You are absolutely killing it tonight. I'm going to put you on as the subscriber of the live stream. So everyone, let it be known, George McMillan holds the title for subscriber of the day. Thank you very much. So anyway, where was I at? The paint. So this thing, not painting it, and it makes a lot of people mad. I understand that. And before I get into this rant, not going to knock anybody who paints their cars. I think it's a cool thing. I think it's great. This car tells a story. Tells a lot of the things. It was a one-owner car. All the dents that were put in this car were put in it by the original owner. And I think it's a great story. I think it's really cool. I think it's awesome the way that the car looks and what it turned out to be. And the biggest issue is the door. Everybody hates the door. Now, the door, yes, I know it's bad, but it shuts. It'll close. It doesn't. It's not warped. It didn't warp the entire body of the car. It's just sheet metal. Can't be replaced. Not a big deal. It's just a dent in the door. Now, what I want to do with the car is take it and let the guys who sold it to me see the car after it's finished, because they were kind of tore up about the car leaving. I want to take the car back to them in the exact same way that I got it from them, but running and driving and upgraded. And I want them to be able to see, hey, this is the car that I sold however many months or years ago. I know this car, because if I brought them a car that I painted up and said, hey, let's say I painted it, everybody loves what? I don't know, purple. Say if I painted it plum crazy purple. Said, hey, look, here's the Challenger that you sold me. They're going to be like, okay, really can't tell. Where's the soul of the car? Where's the essence of what the car that I sold you back however many months ago, where is that? Where did all that go? Where's the car that was sitting in my backyard for 34 years, looking all rusty and nasty? Where did that go? Now, that's point one. Point two is that paint is way more than you think it is. People say just throw a quick paint job, do a quick $20 paint job, do some Rust-Oleum on it. It's not that easy. Look at all this just on the deck lid alone. You would have to sand all this out smooth. That's a day's work right there, just getting this smooth and nice. Not to mention all this, there's body filler right there. You'd have to, fix all the lines, fix everything. There's a lot of man hours in just sanding. There's a lot of man hours in just prep work. There's a lot of man hours in making sure everything is laser straight. It's a lot of man hours and facilities that I don't have the ability to do right now. Do you see what I'm working in? I'm not complaining. I love this shop. Definitely a blessing to have this shop. Could not stress anymore how great this place is. So many good things have happened here. But it is not conducive to paint, to tear down a car straight to the frame, or not to the frame, but to the shell, and paint it. Look at this. This is what we have. We don't have a lot of space here. This is all I have to work in. Now, I know there are ways to set up other things outside, or you can do this or that, but it's a lot of man hours, and it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time that I don't have. Not only that, I'm doing YouTube videos. You guys, I'm really wanting to post once a week, but the way that my schedule allows, I don't have the ability to post once a week. I'm having to do it once every 2 weeks because of me working a full-time job on top of doing this. YouTube is my side hobby. It's what I do for fun in my free time. I don't do this as my job. And I think that some people forget about that because you see the big TV shows, they got a crew all in 30 minutes. They've torn a car down and started painting it, and then somebody, can't get the car to start, or there's drama. Someone gets fired in the middle of it. So I don't have all that. It's me. It's a camera, and Dad will help me out with his insight every now and then, or lend a hand or something like that. But 90% of the time, it's Dylan alone. I do the work, I do the editing, I do the publishing, I answer everyone's emails, I run the Instagram account, run the Facebook page, I run all the merch, sell all that with a little help, obviously. I don't make the shirts myself. Thanks, Mom. You're killing it. I don't do all that, but I do about 99% of everything else is me. So, and I'm not complaining again. Very fortunate to have what I have, but you got to realize that if you guys want to see content, you want to see me actually making videos, and you want to see it in a timely manner, then this is what I can do. Another reason, once it is done driving on the road, ready to go, can park the car anywhere. We won't have to worry about someone door dinging me. We won't have to worry about somebody leaning against it. We won't have to worry about it getting scratched. Anything. Will not hurt my feelings whatsoever if a scratch gets put in this car. Let's say we put months and months of work into just paint. Somebody leans against it with a button on their jeans. Next thing you know, you got scratch in your paint. Then what? Then you'll be scared to drive it. And then next thing you know, it's sitting inside, and you don't want to take it anywhere. And finally, this car, originally, way back in the day, when I first decided to do this, is a testament to the people who cannot get the car on the road and have a fancy paint job, spend $100,000 restoring a car to a T, and you see all the cars that get stuck in body shop jail for 4 or 5 years, and then these guys, I always see people commenting. I've had a bunch of people message me saying, hey, this is my car, I've had it for 10 or 15 years, and you've inspired me to get it out finally and not care about the way it looks, but actually get out and enjoy it. These cars were meant to drive. These cars were meant to be put on the road, enjoyed, made stories, and all sorts of good and fun stuff. So that's what this car is really a testament to, is to prove to you guys that you don't have to have the best of the best, the biggest, the baddest car with the nicest paint, shiniest wheels, the fastest engine, all this, all that. You don't have to have all of that. You can spend your money making the car run and drive, be a solid car, and absolutely be a fun driver on the road and enjoy, and not have to worry about the paint. Because at the end of the day, what's paint going to do besides make it look shiny to where you can see yourself in it? I'll just look in the mirror, and I don't really care. The thing is, this car is meant to prove to people that you don't have to, and this is probably the biggest point I want you guys to take away from this, is that you don't have to do all this expensive body work and all this expensive paint to enjoy a car. You can take a car like this, throw it on the road, do all the modifications you want to do, and drive the wheels off of it. And whenever you get to the point where you can, sure, tear it back apart, paint it. And that's probably what I'll do. I'm not saying that I'll never paint it, but I'm saying that I'm not going to right now. And really had to harp on this so many times because, you know, people get kind of caught up with TV shows. They see, oh, hey, Fast and Loud did it in 2 episodes. Why can't Dylan do it in 15? Well, here's why. It's just me. It's a car. It's a camera. And that's it. So, anyway, that's me hopping off the soapbox. I'm gonna go over that again in this next video and explain in depth why I'm not painting this car, at least right now. I'm not saying I won't do it in the future, but for right now, I want this car to be on the road and enjoyed. Speaking of paint, one of my upcoming projects is if you remember, it's probably been, I guess it's almost a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point. I bought a car. It's a 75 or 6 Dart Sport. I don't even remember what year it is. That's kind of sad. 75 or 6 Dart Sport. That it's a Dart Light actually. You know, so it's got the 6-cylinder aluminum intake, aluminum 4-speed with overdrive. It's a absolutely solid, straight, unmolested, untouched car that has not been messed with, besides the fact that they sanded the original paint down and primed over it, and that's it. They didn't do any other body work, didn't do anything to the floors. So the floors need a patch here and there, and I think the firewall needs a patch. But other than that, the car is immaculate. It's been stored inside for a very long time. The engine runs. I made a little short video on it, but I am going to paint that car. So once, you know, I want to have a shop before I do all that, though. And I'm in the works of, I've got a place to build a shop. I'm working on building a shop right now, you know, getting a really good place to really tear these cars apart and work on it. Somebody asked about how many owners. The Dart Sport had actually one owner. I bought it from the son of the original owner. So it was a one-owner car. Once again, it was a Dodge dealer. That's what the story was. He had a Dodge dealership, and that's what he had. That was one of the last cars he had before he went out of business. And his son still had it. So, yeah, that's the plan. I am going to paint that car because it's too nice. It's absolutely solid. It really needs zero body work. You know, straighten out a couple of the dents. There's like maybe 1 or 2 dents here and there. Straighten everything out and paint it. I want to do the original paint color on it too. It's a beautiful blue. And we'll put a nice 360 or some kind of small block. Maybe even do a modern Hemi in it. But it's already got big bolt pattern disc brakes. It's a very solid car. So not a real big issue to do it. And somebody mentioned Daisy. Yes, Daisy's going to come back. The reason that Daisy kind of got put on the side is because the engine turned out to be, oh, somebody asked about the blue. It's like a powder blue. It's the same color as my 74 D100, if you know that truck I'm talking about. It's a real light sky blue. But anyway, Daisy's going to come back for sure. Daisy is a 67 4-door Dart, slant 6, automatic, beautiful white, original paint, mostly original. The bumpers were kind of crumpled up. The fenders were crumpled up. The grill was messed up, but the hood is intact. Everything else is really solid and straight and nice. I put a nice bumper on it, a very nice chrome bumper. I put a 2-barrel on the car because it was running really weird with the original 1-barrel I had. I rebuilt it, and it just wouldn't run right. So I was like, maybe I just didn't do it right on this 1-barrel, or just something's up with this carburetor. So I pulled that off, put a 2-barrel on it, 2-barrel intake, brand new everything, and it still wouldn't run right. So I did a compression test because I saw a lot of blow-by. Did a compression test on all the cylinders, and cylinder 4 and 5 were at 90 psi, while the rest were at 120. So we've got And Thunder 289 recommended, hey, it could be a blown head gasket. But I was like, well, still doesn't explain the blow-by. So, and those two cylinders will not fire. And it was sitting there idling really rough. I made sure I had spark to those two cylinders, but it would not fire whatever you did. I could not make it fire. So I'm going to have to pull the engine out. The engine's just, I bought a lemon basically. It was running and driving, but I guess that, I don't know what happened. I didn't really drive it much at all, but it just got to where those two cylinders would not fire. So I'm going to pull the engine out. I've got a nice 318 and 904 transmission to put back in the car. It's not going to be crazy. It's going to be a re-gasket, check everything out on the inside, mild cam with a stock converter, put it back in the car, paint under the hood, put new fenders on it, fix any rust, paint the car, put it back together. That's going to be, a quick flip around. The $1,200 budget that I had set on the car originally is going to be out the door because there's going to be some other things we're going to have to do. But, if we could stick to that $1,200 if we just put an engine and transmission in it easily. We could do that. But I would rather, go ahead and do it once, do it right, tear the car down, paint it, make it look nice, have a nice little sweet cruiser. I've already got some 14s for it, put nicer tires on it, got some new hubcaps for it, and that car is going to come back eventually. But like I've been trying to say here recently, I'm trying to stick to one project at a time, trying to get things done with one thing instead of bouncing around, because I think that's what kind of messed me up last year on the Charger. I kept bouncing around doing this and that and this and that, and next thing I know, Power Tour is right around the corner, and I am still nowhere near being done with the Challenger or the Charger. So I was getting stressed out, getting really worried about what to do, and I rushed it because I kept bouncing around projects. So this car is going to be not rushed, and I'm going to make sure everything is at least mechanically the way that I want it. So whenever I do eventually decide to paint the car, when I decide to paint the car, I won't have to do anything but paint the car. The car will run. It'll be perfectly fine the way it is. So anyway, that's what's kind of coming. And I've got plans for the Cordoba back there. We're going to do some videos on it, just a short little mini series. We've got plans for, still have the Trail Duster. I've got plans for, got to do some stuff on it. I want to do a come and swap with it. I've talked about that in the past. But I don't want to do it until I have a shop. Got some things in the works with Junkyard Digs and Thunderhead 289, and gonna go visit them here soon. The quarantine kind of pushed that to the wayside. I'm really hoping to go see them here soon, but once the quarantine kind of gets a little bit better and our schedules clear up, then go visit them for a little while. A couple other things. Yeah, the biggest thing is I'm really starting to work on getting a shop built. And that's where I'm really hoping to get things going with YouTube and get you guys some really good content, but we can actually store stuff inside, and I can have spots dedicated to just vehicles and just leave them there, tear them apart, because you see this is what happens. You get a bunch of stuff and parts and boxes piled up, and a lot of this stuff isn't even for this car, but it's just kind of got piled up here as things come and go, and that's what I really want to keep from happening. So I'm going to build a shop eventually, and get to where we can move cars around, but leave them for extended periods of time without having to push things in and out to use the space. So yeah, the squad will be back together, hopefully. Man, I'll invite Old Classic Mustangs 429 down. Hopefully he can come and hang out with us too. He's never actually got to do a video with us, and I feel bad for that. But he's one of the original Rust Avengers from way back. We've all known each other for I guess over 2 years at this point. It's a funny story because Kevin had just Junkyard Digs had messaged me asking, hey, what do you guys? What do I use for a camera? So I told him about my neat little Canon. It was a T3i at the time, but this is an 80D that I absolutely love, 80D. love this camera. Absolutely fantastic for pictures and video. And so we got to talking. He ended up adding me to the group with Luke and Mike, and really good dudes all around. Great guys. So we've all really hit it off. We did Power Tour last year, and I'm really hoping that we all get back together, do it one more time this year, and then we'll make some videos in the future. The problem is that we live like 13 hours away from each other, so it's really kind of hard to get together. And the same thing with Vice Grip Garage. Would love to get back together with him. He did Power Tour with us. Didn't make any videos with him besides a few live videos, but would really love to kind of do some kind of video with him and just hang out. Derek's a really cool dude, really nice guy, really helpful in a lot of things. Definitely, because I went up to Minnesota one time for SEMA battle for the Young Gun Battle of the Builders, and Derek, I had just come off Power Tour with him. He's like, come on and come out of the house. And he grilled hamburgers for us. Him and Jessica had me and Rob Dom in his kitchen eating burgers, eating salsa. It was great. It's fantastic. Rob Dom's a great dude too. But yeah, I got to sit down with Derek and Rob and just hang out for a few hours. He showed me around the place, but really cool people, really great guys that I've been able to work with. And the boss, hadn't done anything with them. They're up there with Mike, Classic Mustangs 429. He's a really great group of guys, really kind, really helpful, and just awesome dudes to hang out with, and always just there to support and give you insight on stuff going on. Just really cool dudes. But anyways, I think that's gonna do it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for everyone who donated. Really appreciate everything that you guys do for me. You guys are awesome. So that's going to do it for tonight's live video, hanging out in the shop. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that great stuff. T-shirts and stickers, make sure you're ordering that. And make sure you're on the lookout for new content, new videos. Thank you guys for being really supportive and being there for me and just showing all the love that you can. It's really, really meaningful, and it means a heck of a lot to me for sure. So thanks again, guys, and I'm going to see you in the next one.